Hi everyone. In this video, we will be talking about the hustle culture. I speak to Harsh Binani, who is the co-founder of SmartWorks. He says that flexibility is one of the ways to deal with the daily hustle and says that creative problem solving is one of the merits of the hustle culture. I also speak to psychiatrist Dr. Alok Kulkarni, who says that rest and rejuvenation are important to deal with daily stressors. So let's get started. Hi Harsh, what are your views on the hustle culture?
Well, it's almost like an analogy where you're saying that it's half empty, half full. When people talk about the hustle culture, I absolutely agree that hustle culture is what has been at the core of what a lot of successful startups of late have been able to, differentiate themselves from the others, have been able to do this well. Now, what people often do not recognize is that hustle comes with a lot of flexibility also. It's not always that you're hustling, you're also given the flexibility. So in our case, for example, while I'm a big fan of hustlers, it absolutely is a given that when people ask for flexibility, they are given that. And that's how millennials sort of value hustle with flexibility to make their work much more impactful, create a lot of, impact in a very short period of time. Yet when they need their time, they are given that flexibility. If hustle comes without flexibility, then that is not a very, very good outcome because it'll lead to a lot of stress and disorder, which eventually will lead to mental health issues.
Thank you, Harsh. That was quite insightful. Now on to Dr. Kulkarni. Hi, Doctor. Thank you for joining us. Can you please tell us how to preserve one's mental health while dealing with the challenges of the hustle culture?
Hustle culture is basically a culture of working to the point of exhaustion without any rest, relaxation, or rejuvenation. So this is bound to create some sort of stress. Now we keep using this term stress. Stress is basically feelings of anxiety, frustration, etc. We all are surrounded by various stressors. Some of the common stressors include time pressures, daily hassles, economic insecurity, loneliness, poor health, and interpersonal conflict. Now, to add to this complex dynamic, COVID-19 has given us an unprecedented stress which was not seen before. Stress can be broadly classified into three types. Eustress, which is the kind of good stress. Uh, uh, for example, eustress can be defined as having a rewarding experience in the face of a stressor. Although there is stress, these adverse outcomes will be looked at as opportunities for growth, and there will be good social support so the individual will be able to cope. Now the next level of stress is something called tolerable stress, which means although bad things occur, people will still have good social support, and probably they will have a healthy brain architecture, and they will still be able to cope with the stressor. Now the last level of stress is something called toxic stress, and these individuals are more likely to have been exposed to adverse early life events such as childhood sexual abuse, trauma, and so on and so forth. So, coupled with the ongoing lack of social support, these individuals are more prone to have a lack of healthy brain architecture. So, there will be dysregulated physiological systems. So, this becomes too difficult for the individual to cope with this kind of toxic stress. Now, prolonged stress can induce a state of chronic low-grade inflammation in the body, and this has a lot of physical and mental health consequences. We know that chronic low-grade inflammation cuts across neuropsychiatric diagnosis as well as cardiovascular diagnosis. Depression is increasingly being recognized as an independent risk factor for cardiovascular diseases and heart attacks. So it can lead to a lot of potential adverse physical and mental health outcomes. Suffice it to say that we need to have periods of rest, relaxation, and rejuvenation.